Welcome back to another Desk Side Chat. Today I am sitting with Dave Purdy. Wanted to take the opportunity to showcase Dave and his branch, his office, what he's built. Every time we talk over the phone, Dave is super energized, very positive about the things that he is doing for his clients, and wanted Dave to take a few moments to just kind of share what has made you successful and what's going to continue to make you successful with your practice going forward.
Hey, thanks a lot, John. I got to tell you, I think that what's so exciting about our industry is there's so many different ways to be successful. And I got to tell you, it even surprises me every single day I talk to new advisors, and they're just killing it, doing a lot of different things. And so some of the things that I feel have made me successful might work for somebody else, and maybe they won't work for somebody else. But I think they're all different. Kind of the first thing, if someone was going to ask me about being successful, I'd say the first thing right off the bat is try to get a really good team. And when I say a good team, try to get a really good right-hand person. I've had the same guy for 25 years and just an excellent team. But I think to be successful, you've got to have a team. I think number two, I'm seeing that capital is flowing from advisors who don't have a process to advisors that have a process. So systems, processes, and you really have to be able to articulate your value stack. And really, advisors to me who don't have a process, we're getting new clients from advisors who don't have a process. So I think that's a big thing. I think the third thing to me is be very mindful of your digital footprint. And we're getting a lot of web traffic. And now, by the way, I was just reading that they were talking about how in 2020 more people are going to be accessing websites via cell phones than they are computers or iPads. And so we just recently had our website updated. So on a cell phone, it all comes up and you don't have to worry about clicking. So I think the digital footprint, and when I say the digital footprint, I mean whether it's Wealth Vision, Riskalyze, all that stuff, but just be mindful of your digital footprint. And I think lastly is kind of a couple things, and I'll slash it. One, be authentic, and number two, the wow factor. And I'll just talk about a little bit of the wow factor, but we do some great client events and try to wow our clients a lot of different ways. And our goal is to have people walk out of a client event, walk out of this office, walk out of a meeting and go, wow, that was really great. That's really something. And so I think we're always mindful of how we can do that. And lastly, being authentic and be yourself. Don't try to be somebody else. And I think one of the best ways I like to articulate being authentic is guitars. I'm a player and collector of guitars. And many of you know the great guitar player Eric Clapton played a Fender Stratocaster and still does. And his Stratocaster looks something like this. And for people who don't play guitar, a Stratocaster, Jimi Hendrix played a Stratocaster, and it's really a thin sound. It's got thin pickups and very, you recognize it right away, but a very thin sound. That was a Stratocaster. And then the other great guitar player, of course, one of the big greats is Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin. He always played a Cherry Sunburst Les Paul Standard. And for those who aren't familiar with these, it's a big, thick pickup right here, and it gives a real big, thick sound. So think Guns N' Roses, think thick sound, all of Led Zeppelin. And then that was pretty much it, Stratocasters and Les Pauls. And then in the late 70s, and I'm talking about now being authentic, is you had a guy really kind of come out of nowhere named Eddie Van Halen. And even Jimmy Page and Eric Clapton didn't know who Eddie Van Halen was, but they found out who he was. And he took the body of the Stratocaster, like Eric Clapton, because he liked that. He took the pickup out of the Gibson because he liked that. And he didn't like all this electronics, so he just put a volume knob, and he liked an unfinished neck. And he ran to town with this and really changed guitar history forever. Totally authentic. And my thinking is, when you think about your practice, don't try to be the Jimmy Page, don't try to be the Eric Clapton. Try to be the innovator, try to be like Eddie Van Halen. Take the best of both worlds, put them together, be authentic, and be yourself.
Awesome. I can't thank you enough for taking the time to do this. Really appreciate it. if you're interested in seeing Dave, I hope you're going to keep putting videos out where you're actually
sure,
playing, right?
sure,
So
yeah.
Dave will put videos out where he's actually playing and tie that into the messaging that he's delivering to his clients. So really appreciate you sitting down and talking with us.
Thanks.
Dave.